Hello all, I am ready to make my next block in the 200 crochet blocks for Blankets, Throws, and Napkins by Jan Eaton. I am on block number 12 and I have picked out these colors, and it might be a bit of yarn chicken, but we're going to try it. So this is going to be my A. Now last time I did not chain 29 and do the and then single in the second chain from the hook and one single to each across for 28 singles. I did the foundation from this book. I guess I shouldn't flip it by so fast. I don't remember. I did. A chainless foundation for single crochet. So you chain 2. See if I can remember how to do this. So 1, 2, and then you go back over here and you do 1, 2, and then here 1, 2. So that's 3. And I need 28. 4. So I have already established that I cannot count crochet at the same time, so I'll be right back. Okay, foundation done. That's color A, row 1, chain 1, single to each chain and turn. Then we're going to get out a post-it note because repeat row 1, working the following color sequence. 4 more rows of A. So this is A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A total. 1 row of B. 3 rows of A. 1, 2, 3. 1 row of C. 1 row of A. 1 row of D. 5 rows of A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E. 1. A. A. 1, 2, 3. F. 1. A. 1. C. 1. A. 1, 2, 3. B. 1. And A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way I can mark them off as I go, because otherwise I'll not be able to keep track. So these are all single crochets going across here. It should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to skip the chain 1 and just do the singles, because I'm not a fan of the chain 1. If this is your first time watching me, I make all of these with yarn from my stash of stuff that I've collected over time from thrift stores and wherever. So not matching her colors, just grabbing colors that I thought would look good together and going for it. That curl is going to drive me nuts. Hopefully that works itself out before too long. because I won't like that. So, some of the videos that I watch in the slow stitching world, they just work and talk. And since I will not be doing much counting in this situation, I am going to give that a go. I don't know if it will work for me or not. I don't know what chuck butt either. Lately in my videos, I've been whining about allergy season. I think, finally over that. It is May in Northern California. I'm not sure when this will be published. I think I need one more. Now I do have to count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do need one more. We are going into a heat wave, which I am not thrilled about, but I am leaving for the LA area in a couple of days to go visit my child, taking my parents down to visit. So I am excited about that because he lives close to the coast, gets the nice Santa Ana winds, and I have not looked at the weather down there, but I am hoping that it will be much more delightful than it is here. I do not function well in the summertime. I get the summer sad. I don't like it. My clock is about to make some dingy sounds. It is incorrect. I have just not gotten around to fixing it. I should. One of those things, when you hear it, you think, oh, I should do that, but you're busy doing something else, and so you don't go do that. And then you don't ever go do that. One of these days. I don't remember how much it's off by. Quite a bit. It's 4 o'clock right now. I think it says it's 10. I wasn't counting. Someday. I have multiple clocks in my house. I have 2 that get kept going so that they ding. The other one is correct. It's only going to ding enough right now to announce the quarter hour. But when it does on the hour, it's right. The other one is slow and wrong. That's okay. Anyway, it's supposed to be hot this week. It's supposed to be really hot this weekend. Hopefully I will escape that. I tend to just disappear into my house in the summer and not deal with it at all, if at all possible. I don't know. Anybody else dislike summer as much as I do? I always hear these people, oh, I'm so excited for summer. I'm like, bring me my fall or spring or winter back. Probably makes me unusual. That's okay. It will be fine. I forgot to set a timer. I was going to see how long this takes for me to make. If I talk through the whole thing, then I will only have missed the foundation chain part, so I can kind of extrapolate from there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm just curious. On some of my other ones, I wrote down how long it took me to make them, just for curiosity's sake. Hopefully I have enough of this yarn to do the whole thing. I don't know. If not, we'll play a little yarn chicken and that will be fine too. My parents came down yesterday to drop off some stuff that we're going to take to LA so that it would already be in the car, and to pick up some mulch and stuff. And my mom asked me, how many projects do you have going? And I was like, I don't know. And I looked. It's probably close to 20 or 25 or more. Probably at least 20 that I'm actively working on. Some of them I could probably, like my sweater. I'm making a granny square sweater. All it needs is the pockets sewn on. That won't take very long. Oh, I might have to go work for a couple minutes. Then I'll be back if that's the case. The way life goes sometimes. Sometimes you have to stop what you want to do and go do something else for a little while. Let's see. I will just have to see. In one of the Facebook groups that I belong to, the gal was saying that her grandma taught her how to crochet when she was a child, and that her grandma never said anything about right side and wrong side, and now she is trying to improve her skills, and the directions are talking about right and wrong side, and she's like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Is there a right and a wrong side? My grandma never mentioned that. And in my last snowflake video, I was trying to figure out how to explain it. I'm going to have to go research it because I can't figure out the right words for explaining how you know which is the right and wrong side. I am going to go work for a couple minutes and I will be right back. 1, 2, and I didn't mark that off. Foundation row. 2, 3, 4. Did I just mark off a row? I don't remember. Oh my gosh. 1, 2. I think that's 4. I'll have to go back and look at my video later and I'll find out if I was right or wrong. I'll be back. Okay. Back from my little side trip for work. I went back and watched what I already recorded, and I have the correct number of rows. I finished the row and I did not mark it off. So I am back on track. One more row of this color. Sort of brown, I guess. But I was driving along thinking while I was headed to work for a couple minutes, I really want to start a stitch and bitch kind of group, but I would like to call it Sip and Whip. So I've been trying to figure out where in my little town of 7,000 people I could have something like that. I don't want it in my home. I'd like it to be able to be a weekly or monthly meetup thing that doesn't require my presence, and having it in my home would not work. I've been thinking about the different restaurants, but then how do you don't know how many people are coming, and how do you compensate them if there's only a couple of people, and do you guarantee them a certain amount of money or whatever? And just I thought about the library, but I don't think you can drink at the library. I think it'd be more fun as like a sip and whip type of thing rather than just a stitch and bitch. I could be wrong, but it'd be nice to have it someplace where you could possibly have snacks or a light meal and something to drink, even if it's not an alcoholic beverage, just a beverage in general. Repeat row 1, working color sequence, 4 more rows of A, 1 row of B. This is what I decided to be my B. So while I was driving out to work, I was thinking, it just hit me, we have a Moose Lodge in town. I wonder if the people at the Moose Lodge would be receptive to that sort of activity. I was texting my husband trying to remember the name of the lady who runs it, and he's not in a great cell area probably. And I figured it out before he answered me, but I'm going to ask him what he thinks of my idea before I contact them. But that's my idea. Just advertise it publicly that anybody who wants to show up can show up and sit with like-minded crafters. You can bring whatever it is you're working on, your knit, crochet, embroidery, your diamond painting, your painting, whatever craft it is that you do that's portable. I think bringing a sewing machine might be difficult, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't sew as of yet. My sewing machine is definitely portable. It's in a case. I have a antique Singer, a 99K, but I digress. My point is, when I go, that was ugly, cruising, on some of the cruise lines, on days at sea, they put in the schedule of events, a crafters meetup, and they announce where it's going to be. It's usually unhosted by the ship. You just show up, and whoever shows up, shows up. On my Viking cruise, it was very popular. We often showed up even when it wasn't scheduled. We all just showed up at that time. On my most recent cruise to Alaska, which was on Princess, I believe, it wasn't that successful. There were several of us the first time, and I was the only one the second time. And I was like, well, okay, that's that. Wasn't popular, but I do think it would be fun. So wait till my husband gets in cell service area. Ask him what he thinks of the Moose Lodge. They have a liquor license, I asked. I do know that they host like dinners and stuff there. So maybe if there was some sort of incentive, like we each paid $5 to be there, like a cover door, whatever. What do they call that? Cover charge? A cover charge? It would be worth their while. I believe the Moose Lodge is run by volunteers. I don't know how their food service works. I've been there a couple of times for dinner, but not in the last year or two. Something to think about. I think it would be a lot of fun if we had a craft store in town, but we don't have any kind of store that specializes in selling crafts, like a mom and pop type craft store, because that would definitely be the place to do it. I don't know. It's just a thought. I mentioned it on Facebook before, and several people are like, that's a great idea, but it hasn't gotten any traction. I'm still thinking about it a couple of months later, so it's obviously something that I would like to do. I just need to figure out the logistics of it and how I'm going to make that happen. I don't know. We'll see. If it happens, I'll report back. I'll let you know. Oh my gosh, that's such a teeny tiny amount of, I guess it's a little bit more on that side. Teeny tiny amount of that color. I feel like 2 rows might have been better, but it does say fine lines, not bold lines. And it is all single crochets. So the first 8 blocks I blocked, and the last 2 I did not. They were really stiff, kind of like this one is. and we'll see if I'll block this one. I'm probably only going to block the ones that really scream, block me, and then wait on the others to decide based on what I end up doing with them. I think that 200 blocks this size is too much for a blanket. I don't remember. I think the other ones were, the ones that I blocked, I think were 8-inch squares. So this one so far is on track, but maybe it was 9. I don't know. I'd have to go measure them. Really doesn't. I have some that are bigger and some that are smaller. So if I decide to put all these into a blanket, I will have to accommodate the squares that are smaller, maybe by putting a border around them of whatever color I join the whole blanket in, and some of them will just be smaller. I'm okay with that because it would definitely be a very scrappy blanket and not color planned out or whatever, just be a scrap blanket, like kind of like your crazy quilt but in crochet. My wrong clock again is going to go through its dingies. So you probably didn't count the dings last time, and you're probably not counting the dings this time, but if you were, you would realize that I only left for work for about 45 minutes. I just needed to meet up with somebody so that they could get some mulch. My husband and his son have acquired a significant amount of mulch, and we've been selling it. Sometimes they can't meet people, so I go out there for them, which is fine. It benefits me too at the end of the day. So this is color C, and this is 1 row. This yarn feels a little bit softer than the brown and the tan that I already used. That's okay. Let's just give it a little bit of a different texture. So right now it's 5 o'clock at my house. It's hot and breezy outside. I don't have any lights on inside, so all you're getting is light from the window. If it's probably not great. I've been researching new cameras. I think I'm down to 2, I think, but I need to watch a few more video reviews to see which one I want. The one that seems to focus better has a bunch of features I don't think I would use. Like if you're filming yourself standing and moving around, it tracks you, and that's not important to me. And then it has a bunch of filters and different things that it can do, and again, that is not important to me. But it, according to the reviews that I've watched, it wins hand down in the zoom department. So maybe you have to get other features that you're not necessarily interested in to get the feature that you are interested in. I have looked at one that seemed really promising based on the video reviews, but when I went and read the actual reviews, people were not happy with it. They said it was temperature hot all the time, and that it didn't really shut off. So like even when they weren't using it, it was still hot to the touch. And often what I do with the reviews is I look to see how old they are. So maybe that's something that was an issue and got addressed. But these reviews were from 2025, and so I was like, okay, that one's going to be out. a lot of happy people and a lot of unhappy people, and I kind of try and balance the reviews. But when I am buying something expensive, I try to always read the negative reviews, because that is really where you learn. Um, if I'm looking for something, I already know, or most of us, I think, already know why we want it. We know the pros. For example, when I was looking for a Kindle, I knew why I wanted a Kindle. I knew pretty much what Kindles do. So then it just came down to which Kindle am I going to get. And so I was reading the reviews, and for the one that I was the most interested in, and the thing that I learned was that if you bought a hard case, when you closed the case, it would crack the screen. So that's not a Kindle problem, that's a case problem. And so I just did not buy a hard case. When I ended up buying that Kindle, I just didn't buy a hard case for it, because the issue was the case, not the actual Kindle. What is going on here? These tails are driving me nuts. Let's see. Let's put you back where you go. And let's clip you off and put you back where you go. There we go. Now I just have the tails to drive me nuts. Anyway, so when I'm looking for something, I go read the bad reviews, because then you can find out if it's operator error or if it is something wrong with the product itself. I wanted a pizzle iron, and when I was looking for the pizzle iron, everybody says, oh, it's messy and the cookies don't come out round because it makes 4 cookies, and oh, it's so awful. But this one lady posted a review, and she said she takes the cookies out, and while they're still hot, she has a cookie cutter, like a biscuit cutter, that is the same size as the cookies, and she just cuts them out. And she puts the scraps and bits in a bowl to snack on, and she puts the cookies in the cookie container for whatever it is that she plans on using the cookies for. I thought, well, now isn't that clever? So then I went ahead and got that pizzle iron, and I made sure I had a biscuit cutter the right size. And wouldn't you know, her hint works fabulously. So I just cut my cookies while they're still hot, and they come out perfectly shaped every time because of that. You learn a lot in the reviews. So that is my journey that I'm on for trying to figure out what web cam I want. I know a lot of the people that I watch videotape like an iPad, where maybe they use their phone or an old phone. I don't know. I know that video equipment can potentially be really expensive, and I don't plan on spending that much on this. It is, at least right now, just my hobby, just for fun. So I'm not going to go spend a bunch of money on fancy equipment. I just want it to focus better. And I think I can achieve that with a webcam. One of these days we will all know, but I'm not in a hurry to make a decision right now. I was thinking about asking my kid about it when I am visiting him, because he understands, I think he understands some of the technical stuff better than I do. So I might show him the 2 that I've narrowed it down to and ask him what he thinks. Maybe he can help me make a decision. The hard part is there's so many choices, it's hard to even narrow it down to begin with, and I don't understand frames per second and 1080 and HD and all of that stuff, so I don't even really know like what search terms I should put in. So I kind of have to start with like a web article with the 5 best webcams or whatever, you know. And even then, often when they're reviewing them for different purposes than what I plan on using them for. So I don't know if sometimes I read through the reviews and I was like, it doesn't really apply to me, so I don't know if this is really what I'm looking for or not. If that makes any kind of sense. I do know that I have lots of plans for lots of videos, so having something that I can use that's reliable and works relatively easily would be nice. In this book, I am only on 12, and there are 200 blocks. I wandered away for a second to check my back door because it said there was a person with a package. My cat food has finally arrived. It was supposed to be here yesterday from Amazon. The driver's like, I was petting your cat. I was like, that's Parker. The one that he was petting. I have Parker, Polly, Hershey, Bat, Squirrel. Oh my gosh. Pip, Parker, Polly, Squirrel, Bat, Pip, Hershey, and my old man. What is my old man's name? Bobby. And then there's George, who is not my cat, and the little butthead, also not my cat. That's not what I call him, but I'm not going to say right here what I call him. He's getting nicer though, which is interesting. I think he lives here now. I think they all live here now, but I've talked about that before. And Mango, also not my cat, but Mango, George, and the jerk, they don't leave, so I don't know, I guess they're residents. Permanent guests, I don't know. And then so my Pip and my Bat are both all black cats, but there is at least 3 new all black cats that I've seen. And there is a scruffy gray tabby that I've started seeing. And there might be a different gray tabby. I'm not entirely sure. That I can't get near that one, so I don't know. The benefits of having a 12-foot fence and dogs on both sides, I guess. You get all the cats. I had another cat, Panda, but she packed her bags and moved down the street to live with another lady on the other side of the street. She never liked it here from the moment she came. I don't know if she doesn't, I don't know, loner, I guess. She just doesn't like other cats. She doesn't like it at my house, that's for sure. I found her living down the street one day. I had multiple conversations with the other lady, and I was like, you're feeding her. She's not going to come back. If you don't want her, you have to stop feeding her and stop buying her treats and stop buying her cat beds and stop buying her toys. Like, I wouldn't come back either. But she's like, we're not cat people. We have dogs. I'm like, you're a cat person now, lady. What happens when you feed the cat that shows up on your porch? I do see Panda from time to time on my walks. She used to come out and say hi to me. She does not anymore. I don't know why. Too far to walk, I guess. Kind of funny. But Pip is the latest addition, and that's only because I'm 99% sure she was in heat and all the boys came to the yard. And we do not need kittens, as we already have too many cats. So all of my cats are spayed or neutered. I do not know about the Not My Cats. I assume they are, but I don't know. I know there's a tuxedo that comes around that is not. He has all the signs of being a tomcat. He's got the big puffy cheeks and he sounds like Arnold when he's walking down the sidewalk. He doesn't come around a lot, thankfully, because he is the biggest jerk of them all. But right now, Pip is lounging on the bunny bench outside of my window, being cute as all get out. And it is funny how every cat has their own different personality, what they like and what they don't like. Bat and Squirrel are brother and sister, and they were feral when I got them. And I can only feed them, or not feed them, I can only pet them where I feed them. Squirrel is super loving, but does not want to be picked up. He's he's a tabby, but he looks like he could probably have some sort of a Maine Coon descendant in his life somewhere. He's just one of the fluffiest cats. And then Bat is a tabby. You can barely tell. She has a little M on her forehead, even though she's all black. And again, you can pet her on the porch where you're feeding them, but anywhere else in the yard, they just walk around you. They don't want anything to do with you. I brought them from a different house that I was living at. And then, so those are my two oldest cats that I have. Although Bobby is older, but Bobby, I think, must have come with this property. I have no idea. He just showed up, and he's probably the most patient cat I've ever met in my life. He just sits off to the side, and he's like, whatever. I'll eat when everybody else is done eating. And he kind of looks like a Siamese a little bit, but with long hair, and he has the most beautiful blue eyes. He is adorable. I can pet him anywhere, but he likes to grab my pants and not let me walk away. Gets me with his teeth, which is funny to me. And then Hershey and Parker are sisters, and I got them at a park. They were so obviously dumped. This yarn is not pleasant at all. I'm going to replace it. I'll be right back. We'll go with this one. Anyway, Hershey and Parker came from a park that I was having a picnic at, and they were so tiny and so sweet and so socialized already. They were crawling all over everybody at the picnic. And they had a bowl of water and a can of cat food, so you know somebody dumped them there. And that just irritates the snot out of me, because that's wrong, because feral kitties can survive and socialized kitties cannot, because they just are not set up that way. You know, they're too trusting. So I brought them home, much to my husband's chagrin, because I already have so many kitties. Brought them home and then toiled over their names for a long time. Parker is all gray tabby, and she is obnoxious with her loving, like her murder claws come out. And if you're petting her, she's clawing. It's ridiculous. And you cannot walk anywhere without her between your feet. Like, I literally have to pick her up so I can walk across my property, because she'll trip you. It's crazy. Everybody just kicks her out of the way, and she's like, oh, that was fun. Comes back. She loves hanging out in the shop with my husband. She gets into everything. It's crazy. And then her sister Hershey is just a sweet, kind little soul. She's mostly white with little gray splotches on her, and she hangs out around the house and doesn't really go adventuring or doing anything. And she's pretty good friends with Polly. Polly is another funny one. I got her from our trekking yard, and she is a ginger, orange cat, and she has 7 toes on each of her front feet. And she's a girl, which is I have read unusual for orange cats. I don't know if that's really true or not. And she has one eye, so she's got a lot going on, and she has allergies. So does Hershey. So the two of them just walk around sneezing all the time. Hershey and Polly are pretty close, which is nice. And then Pip is our latest addition. She just showed up kind of around the beginning of the year. I suspect that she came from next door where Mingo actually lives. I think that as their cats leave, they just get more cats. But when she went into heat, I just grabbed her and got her fixed. And so since I spent hundreds of dollars on her, she is now my cat. And I think she knows that because she doesn't seem like she ever leaves. Like right now, like I said, she's sleeping outside my window on the bunny bench. Outside my window is a very popular place for the kitties. I have a fountain that they like to drink out of, and there's cement, and it's under a plum tree and under another tree. I don't know what it is. Very shaded. And the way the house and the fence work, it's kind of a little breezeway. So a lot of the cats turn into little kitty puddles out there in the summertime. Right now, they're probably wondering why I'm not outside feeding them. I need to do that. But they can wait a couple more minutes. This is moving along rather nicely, I think. So that's the story of my cats. I've always had cats ever since I was little. I've always been allergic to cats ever since was little. I've had inside cats up until about 6 years ago, and then I was like, you know what? It's enough of that. My allergies have improved significantly since I have stopped having inside cats. I miss having inside cats. I miss having them come and visit you and be hanging out and on your desk and on the bed and talking to you and being around. I don't miss the fur. I don't miss the allergies. I don't miss the cat litter. I've had indoor-outdoor cats and just indoor cats. I don't miss the wondering who else is using the cat door. I've lived where there's no cat door. I don't miss getting up 10,000 times to let them in or let them out. It's just so much easier to have outside cats. And my husband and I travel so much. It's just so much easier to have outside cats because the pet sitter doesn't have to come in. He doesn't have to worry about kitty litter. He doesn't have to worry about what they're doing inside. He just shows up and feeds them, takes care of the chickens, and is on his way, which is nice. So as I make these blocks, I kind of decide, is this something I want to make again? And I'm not a huge fan of endless rows of single crochet. So I'm going to say that probably not going to make the list of, oh, I'd love to do that again. It's a pretty block, I guess. So far, I picked out pretty decent colors for it. I like it much better than hers. I didn't care for her colors. But that's just me. I'm interested to see how the book progresses as we go. This one has 1 crochet hook, so it is considered a beginner. I learned on another block that I made, it had 2 crochet hooks, which would be intermediate. And excuse me, I did struggle with it a little bit. until I figured out what was going on. I have not made an advanced one yet. I don't know when that will be coming. I know there's some Christmas blocks coming up. I don't know, but I'm committed to making all of the blocks, so I'm just going to keep moving on with them. I think that's my last row. Yep. Oh, I have a frog in my throat. Okay, that's better. All right, last color. I have a ball winder. Sometimes it just sucks up the center, so you don't know where it's at. Oh, so many ends to weave in. That's all right. Not my favorite. Oh my gosh. This will not get back on the desk. There we go. Okay, one of these. And then I would say probably I'm more than halfway, I would assume. Which one of these is F? That one I think is F. More than halfway. Possibly. Those dings are my cameras telling me something's going on in the real world outside. The car driving by or whatever. That's how I knew that the Amazon guy was here. I should have seen his van drive by, but I guess I wasn't paying attention because I did not see that. It can be annoying at times. Sometimes I sleep in and my husband gets up and he goes outside and it's like, well, I'm going to have to mute my phone, I guess, because it just bidings while I'm trying to sleep. Which reminds me, I need to go out and wipe off the lens on one of them because it told me a couple times last night that there was a car and really it was just like a spider web with a weed or something hanging on it. Which it does that a lot too. It's not a perfect system, but I like it and it's better than nothing. One time I was in Kansas, my husband was at work and it was dinging and this guy was at my door and I was trying to talk to him through the doorbell, but I think the notification was too late for me to do that. And couldn't figure out what they were doing. They were walking around in my yard and stuff, these two guys. So my husband called his brother-in-law who lives down the street. He's like, we could go down to our house and figure out what's going on. Well, these guys thought that they were supposed to pick up a lawnmower or something, and they were at the wrong address. The problem is the streets in our town are K and a half, KK, and each street has the same addresses. So the addresses are pretty much run in parallel lines to each other. And so they were in the wrong place, but when my brother-in-law got here, they were trying to rip my gate off the hinges. So if I didn't have cameras, I would not have known that was going on. And we're really glad that we were able to stop that. I keep trying to get my parents to get cameras. They just lost all but one of their chickens to a bear. I'm like, yeah, you have a trail cam, but if you had cameras, then you would have better pictures and better everything, but they don't want to do it, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. They have a driveway alarm, but they don't go look when it dings. I'm like, what's the point? If you're not going to go look, then you shouldn't have it. That's my policy. Same thing with dogs. If you're going to have dogs and they're going to bark, then you should go look and see what they're barking about. Getting closer, getting closer. I'm probably boring you with my chit-chat. I will say hi to my husband. Hi, honey. I love you so much. Because I know he watches my videos when he's out driving for work. I think this one goes up after I come back. So I can tell you that one of the things I like to do when I'm going to be gone for a few days and he's going to be home or going to be working or whatever, I go to the store and I, excuse me, man, I go to like the dollar store or Dollar General, wherever I can get cheap cards, and I get a card for each day that I'm going to be gone, and then I write in it, and then I write what day he gets to open it, and then I leave them all for him. So today I went and got cards for each day that I'll be gone, and I'll stick them in his lunchbox before I leave, and then there'll be a little surprise for him. He has the patience of a saint, because if I got that many cards all at once, I don't know if I could wait each day to open them. I have no patience at all. I'm the type of person that if I buy you a present, I want to give it to you right now. And if I know you got me a present, I want it right now. I get so excited, especially if I buy presents, because I try so hard to get people exactly the right present. Which reminds me, I need to buy my husband a level, because he keeps talking about a level, and I should write that down, because I keep forgetting a level. I know he has a big one in the garage, and he keeps talking about, I have a little one somewhere, and I'm like, I don't think you do. I think I do in the house, but I don't think you have a little one. He's like, I think I do, and I was like, I don't think you do. So I'm just going to go buy him a level, maybe in medium and small, and then he'll have choices. We had to use the big one the other day, and it was kind of funny, because it was way too big for what we were doing. But I don't know. I need to go look and see what kind of level I want to get him. Not too expensive, just a level. I mean, it doesn't have to be. We already have a laser level, so he doesn't need anything like that. He just needs a basic bubble level. Mine's, I forget what mine's called, like a bullet level or something. I don't know. It has like 3 bubbles in it. It's like less than a foot long, maybe 8 or 9 inches long. Works really well in small spaces. And the one he has that we used for fixing the chicken water is like 3 feet long. And then it's almost more of a hindrance than a help at that point, because you're trying to manage all of the moving parts at the same time, and the level is comically big for the situation. But the chicken water is fixed and level, I think. Level enough, I suppose. Oh, that's too tight. Loosen up. Okay. I feel like I've been at this forever, but it has only been 42 minutes. The ladies that I watch that work and stitch, they try to make their videos like an hour long. I am quite excited to go visit my kid. I want to go to Pasadena. There's a craft thrift store, and right this second I cannot think of the name of it. Another YouTuber that I watch goes there, and always has really great, nice things to say about it. And then I'm sure that we'll hit all the normal thrift stores like Salvation Army and Goodwill and stuff. Now I have to look because that's going to drive me bonkers if I don't. Let's see. Thrift Pasadena. Oops. You know that it's just going to tell me. Or it should. I should make sure I have the right Pasadena. What was it called? Oh, there we go. Meow Meows. When I'm not going there. That's not the one. What is it called? There's a lot of thrift stores in Pasadena. Remainders. It is called Remainders Creative Reuse. It's a nonprofit store supplying a wide range of low-cost art and craft materials plus workshops. I'm really excited. I want to go there. And I hope that they're open. Let's see. When will they be open? Oh, they're open on Saturday. Perfect, from 10 to 6. They're also open on Sunday, which is unusual for a thrift store. My mom will not be thrilled when she finds out it's an over an hour drive from my kids' house, but they always have the option of just not going. I can go by myself and they can all stay home and visit. It doesn't matter. I want to go. If it's that big of a deal, then I'll wait until my husband is down there with me, and then we will go. Because he always takes me thrifting. He's such a good man. I'll be right back. I think I finished 2 rows while I was chatting on the phone. I'm sure you will forgive me. I hope. Okay. The last different color, and then it is just 6 rows of the brown. That was my husband who called, and I was discussing my sip and whip idea with him. There's so many questions that I would need answered from the Moose Lodge before, I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I don't know how to get something like that off the ground. I've talked to other people that say they're interested in it, but how do you get it started? That's why I think that if there were a craft store, although I did see a quilt shop in the town 20 miles south of me that I did not know was there, so I have to make a point of going there because I did not know that was even an option. I don't really know that town very well. I don't go down there very often. But I feel like if it were hosted by a business or like the Moose Lodge, that it could get more traction and attract more people and be more successful than just some random person being like, hey, let's get together and craft. I don't know, Maybe the Moose Lodge could run it like a fundraiser or something. Maybe it could start out as a fundraiser and then just become a thing. I don't know how these things get started or how they become a thing. I really don't. But I guess I'm going to find out if I can get something like that started. Erg. I split my yarn. Okay, not my favorite square as I'm coming to an end. These single crochets over and over and over again are not my favorite thing. I think they're boring. Hopefully there's not a lot of squares that are just endless rows of single crochets. I feel like I've already done 2 or 3 of them that are that way. That knocking sound is my phone. I belong to a group chat for one of our businesses, and my husband is dispatching his trucks, and everybody is saying yes or no to what he's assigning them to do. So makes my phone go bazonkers for a minute or two. Almost done, almost done. Also, now I'm racing to see if I can get this done before he gets home, because I cannot film when he is here. I am so self-conscious about talking to myself. Not really. I'm okay with this, just sitting in and chatting, pretending like somebody is listening to me. But when he's home, he talks to me, which is lovely. Everybody should have a spouse that talks to them. But if I'm sitting here trying to film, he talks to me. And makes it hard. And I don't want to be like, oh, you can't talk to me because I'm filming right now. So, because I think that's rude, and that's not how you build a good relationship. So I try to do all of my filming when he is not in the house, so that he doesn't have to sit there and be quiet, and so that he doesn't have to feel like he can't talk to me, because that's not right. I don't think that's right. I know other people, you hear people coming and going in their houses and they don't bother them. So I assume that they've established some sort of rule so that people know, the other people in their house know that they're filming or whatever, and not to interrupt or bother them. But again, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like that. I don't want my husband to feel like he can't talk to me. I want him to talk to me whenever he wants to talk to me. I have figured out how to edit videos when he's in the house, though. Usually in the evenings, he goes and sits on the couch and watches a movie or something, and I'm not really big into watching TV or movies. We don't really... I don't know. I don't know what would be considered watching TV anymore. We have YouTube and Prime, and that's it. But I don't want him to not watch the kind of movies that he likes, because they're not movies that I like. So I put on my headphones and either watch something on my computer or edit videos while he is watching what he likes to watch. He works hard. He deserves to watch what he likes to watch. There are evenings where we watch together. We'll pick something that we both like, but for the most part, if I go sit on the couch, I just go to sleep. It's terrible. My body's like, this is where we nap. Must be time to go to sleep. So the moral of that story is, I try to do this part of the filming when he is at work or outside in his shop doing something else, so that he is not inconvenienced in any way, because this is just a hobby. Maybe it'd be different if I was making money on YouTube and I could be like, I'm at work. I don't know if this will ever be work. Maybe. I picked up a subscriber the other day. I have 8. Oh my gosh. I don't know who they are, because I did not know this. Something new that I learned. You can, there's a setting for whether or not the channels that you subscribe to know who you are. So you can, so I can only see 2 of my subscribers. The other 6 are basically anonymous to me. which is perfectly fine. I can guess who some of them are, but it doesn't matter. I did look. I have 86 posted videos, but probably 10 or more of those are scheduled. They're not public yet. One of the people that I follow, motivational type speaker guy that I follow, he says nobody cares about your first 100 videos. Just make the videos. Trying to see if this is square or close to square. It doesn't matter if I put the last 2 rows on whether it's square or not. I did change the last square because it wasn't going to be square, but this one I'm just gonna, if it's a rectangle, it's a rectangle. Who cares? My aim is not to be perfect. My aim is to learn new skills. Learn new skills and put in time on my hobbies, because just crocheting and doing will help me be a better crocheter in this situation, in my other hobbies as well. Just actually working in the craft, because that's your hands making the motions, your brain acknowledging what you're doing. Practice, 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 practice. I don't believe practice makes perfect. I do believe practice makes better. I have no desire to be perfect. I kind of feel like perfect is the end. Perfect is final. It's not, once you're perfect, what do you have to learn? So no perfection for me. And if you don't make mistakes, how do you release your soul from the article that you're making? All that fun stuff. But the goal is not perfection. The goal is mastery, and I don't think that mastery equals perfection. I think mastery equals a level of knowledge about a subject. I think mastery equals a level of skill in a discipline or a subject or craft, but I don't think that mastery implies perfection. I don't think it should imply perfection. I don't want it to, at least in my case. I just want to have more skills. I love learning, so I want to foster my love of learning and grow within the different disciplines. There's so many things I want to learn. Sometimes I just sit here and I'm frustrated because I have so many different things that I'm doing and wanting to do and wanting to learn. I just kind of get decision paralysis. It's crazy. And I don't like that. But here we go. There it is. Mark off on a square. Yay! Move that out of the way. Let's see. Is it square? I would say that's square. So that's the purpose of my journey, is to learn. I've always done handiwork, but I just kind of whatever. But in the last couple of years, I find myself sitting at my computer watching nothing. Watching just mind-numbingly stupid stuff. And last year I was like, you know what? I need to figure out a way to not be like, oh my gosh, here it is, bedtime, and I did nothing today. And yes, I crochet and I knit and stuff, but was finding it hard to come up with ideas of what to make. And then I really want to learn how to sew, and I have a great big mental block against that. I don't know why. One of the YouTubers that I watch that does sewing related videos had commented that if you want to be good at sewing, you need to be good at hand stitching. It's part of it. And so I decided I would get better at hand stitching. Well, how do you do that? I don't know. So I am learning to embroider. And I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. I used to do cross stitch. I keep looking at cross stitch kits. I will probably eventually get one, but I don't recall enjoying cross stitch nearly as much as I am enjoying embroidery. Now, I have not actually made anything in embroidery. I have only been learning stitches, and I'm making an A to Z book, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm really loving the process of just working through learning one stitch at a time. I'm kind of at a roadblock though, because the current stitch that I'm learning has me kerfuffled. This book is driving me nuts. I feel like I keep getting caught on it. I think it's a plaited braid, and I can't figure it out. So my new plan for that is, instead of continuing to try to make it on the page that goes in the eventual A to Z book that I'm making, stitch book that I'm making, I made myself a slow stitch book where I can practice stitches. So I'm going to take the slow stitch book and try to figure out in slow stitch. It's actually not a book, it's a scroll. I'm going to use the scroll to practice the stitches. I'm going to start with that stitch that I can't figure out how to make, and just do it over and over and over again in the slow stitch meditation scroll until I can be like, oh, this is how you make this stitch. And then I'm going to go back and put it on the page that it belongs on. So I'm kind of sadly stalled out on that project. So my choices are figure out that stitch, or finish the video for just the regular braid stitch, which I did figure out, and post it. And then when I figure out the plaited braid stitch, go back and record that video as a separate video. I have some time because I don't have to post my next embroidery video until July, and it's May, so no stress there. But I have some kits. I have so much stuff. Like I said at the beginning of the video, my mom wanted to know how many projects I have going. I don't know. 20, 25. I have like probably 10 new books that I want to, with different crafts in them that I want to learn. I want to do some chicken scratch embroidery, but I'm still working on getting some instructions for that. I did order some books from Etsy. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that I went down. The one book that I want, I can't find anywhere, and they're offering it on Etsy as a downloadable PDF. But I cannot bring myself to buy it because I think it is copyright infringement. I asked in one of my groups on Facebook what people thought. And a couple people are like, no, it's okay. And a couple of people are like, definitely copyright infringement. The overall consensus is copyright infringement. Well, I found out today that the gal who wrote the book is actually still alive. So from that point of view, I definitely think it's copyright infringement. I have absolutely no problem walking into a thrift store and buying a book. I realize that the publisher and the author of the book are not going to get any kind of compensation for that. Only the seller is going to get compensation for that. So maybe I'm a hypocrite. I just have a problem with someone taking someone else's book and scanning it and then selling copies of that. The book in question, it's not that old. It's old. It's from 1980. That's probably old. I don't want to admit it. But it's not like a book from the 1800s or something. I feel if she was just selling the book, I'd be okay with that. I'm not okay with her selling copies of it. And that was the general consensus on Facebook. Now, Etsy says that if you have a vintage, hand-curated book that's more than 20 years old, you can sell PDF copies of it. So it's not a violation of Etsy's policies. My question would be, is Etsy going to show up in court to defend you for copyright infringement if the publisher or the author, whoever owns that copyright, takes offense to what you're doing? Copyright is such a rabbit hole. Oh my gosh. When I was adding music to my videos, I only added music that YouTube said this music is okay. I did not go get my own music because I did not want to defend myself. Not that I have any desire to, but I see all these videos where people take other people's videos and do things with them, and I wonder, copyright is not a hole that I want to go down. I do worry sometimes about making like these patterns out of this book. And showing parts of the book. Is that copyright infringement? I don't know. I'm not selling this. Hard to say. Anyway, where was I? I don't know. Put a big old fat damper on my YouTube channel if I find out that I can't make these patterns and then post videos of them. I don't believe it's copyright infringement. I'm not making any money, especially right now, because I am not making any money on YouTube. And if I were making money, would it make a difference? I guess I'm going to have to research that. I'm not showing the whole book. I suppose at some point I will have shown the whole book if I make all 200 squares. Did I successfully change it into something of my own? I think that is one of the criteria. I don't know. Copyright law is so, I want to say new and sketchy. I'm not sure anybody really knows the answer. Well, there's half of it. Now for the other half. I will say this. If it turns out that what I'm doing is copyright infringement, then I will be the first to apologize. And I will be the first to accept my punishment, whatever that would be. I don't know. Having my videos taken down, paying a fine. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't believe what I'm doing is copyright infringement. But now that I've brought it up, I guess I'm going to have to research that. I really don't know. Interesting thought, though, isn't it? Part of the problem is I don't know how to ask that question. How do you ask that question of YouTube or Google or wherever you would ask that question? I don't know. I do know one thing. It's getting rather dark in my house. And it's getting harder to see these little ends to weave them in. I'm going to figure that out. How to find out. I mean, nothing that I've done has been flagged by YouTube. Nothing that I've done has probably been watched by YouTube. I don't know how they catch that either. Irk. I don't know. That's I have to go like search for some craft books and see if anybody else is like specifically making something out of a book or not. This is getting tedious. I've gone way over my hour mark and I didn't even show you everything because I did not do the foundation on camera. I'm going to pause this and finish tying these in, and then I'll be right back. Okay, my square is done. This one is not a square, it's more of a rectangle. It definitely probably needs to be blocked. I don't feel like blocking it today, so I am not going to, but here it is. I spent a considerable amount of time just now trying to answer the copyright question of whether or not I can actually show pictures of the patterns in this book and make the patterns in this book without violating copyright. I don't know the answer. I'm going to carry on in my sweet ignorant bliss and then pay the consequences later, I guess. I have asked the Reddit community what they think, and we'll see how that goes. So, thank you for watching.